Good morning, Lufkin Central and Online Worship Community. Jason Hollinger, the campus and community minister here. And today we are beginning a new series, one based off of Max Lucado's book, Grace More Than We Deserve, Greater Than We Imagine. Now, if you've been following us on Sunday mornings, we just recently the previous week we just finished off the month of May with a series called Epic Grace, taught to us by Rick Atchley, the lead minister for the Hills Church, and so I figured this might be a great time to kind of jump into this continuation of grace and understanding what it is. And so this is what Max says. Grace isn't just a noun. Yes, God gives us grace, but then he uses that very grace to change us. We become more like him, able to gracefully bestow grace on others. No one illustrates the life-changing power of grace better than the Apostle Paul, the Christian hater turned Christ lover. And I love that, just that thinking, the Christian hater turned Christ lover. And on his he had his I saw the light journey, and just you read, you kind of get towards Acts chapter 8, Acts chapter 9, especially chapter 9 of his experience of going from Saul to Paul, going from a Christ hater to a Christ lover, going from a persecutor to one who was persecuted. And so with that, I want to ask this question today, that really kind of is serve as a challenge for you. A few questions that I want us to think back to. Think back to a time when you realized you were wrong. How did you respond? So think back to this time you realized you were wrong. How did you respond? Did you try to justify your behavior, or did you speak the truth? Again, Paul had to realize what he was doing. And, more than we deserve, greater than we imagine, the grace of God. Well, Paul had this moment that he realized that what he was doing. And he was one that was passionate and determined and bold for his understanding that he was supposed to be a persecutor of Christians. And what then happened is God then helped him to see and realize what he was doing and who he was fighting against. He was a part of a group that had been looking for and longing for the promised Messiah to come. Right? They just didn't think it was. They just didn't think it was Jesus, and so therefore they didn't think any of his followers were on the right track. That they were actually, causing more harm than good. And so Paul had this realization, or Saul had this realization of being wrong, of who Jesus was, and therefore being wrong of who his followers were. Now he could have justified his behavior by saying, "Hey, listen, I just thought I was doing what was right, and so don't blame me." All this kind of thing. I was doing what they were telling me to do. What the religious leaders, what they were sending me to do. I was just, Did he have an opportunity to investigate things for himself? Yes. Was he doing what he was told? Yes. But ultimately, when he came to this realization of understanding who he was hurting, street ministries, Matthew 25:40, what you did for the least of these, you did for me, to me. When we do harm to others, we're doing harm to God. When we do uh, blessings to others, when we bless others, we're doing that to God as well. And so, with that, are you always ready to proclaim God's grace, no matter where you are or who your audience is? Are you ready and willing to proclaim, to profess that grace in the midst of, yes, realizing what you've been doing, realizing what your actions, who all they've impacted, and that then when you receive that grace, that more than you deserve, greater than you imagine, when you receive that grace, do you proclaim that? Do you tell that story? Do you tell that story to others? What, and even kind of think about those reasons sometimes that prevent us from doing it. I mean, sometimes we may be worried about the audience that we're facing and about how they might feel about us, talking about Jesus and proclaiming who he is. Listen, God gives you grace every day. And so therefore you have something every day to proclaim. You have something every day to profess. When we look back and realize multiple times every day, not just daily, sometimes hourly. And the challenge that I want to have for you today in this grace-shaped life that we live, do you take time? Have you taken time to thank him? Have you taken time to live in awareness of the grace that God has given you? Do you need to raise that awareness? Do you need to spend more time focusing on who God is and what he has done for you? Do you need to take those moments and live in them and rejoice in them and be thankful for them and tell others about it? I think sometimes we consider it weakness if somebody is wrong. If they're not right, that's a deficiency on them. That just tells us more about them. But see, it's not about being right before humanity. It's about being right before God. And when he humbles us, he picks us back up. When we realize these things and we live in the hope of that grace that is more than we deserve and greater than we imagine, we live as an opportunity, as a voice, as an instrument to tell someone else about Jesus and all his goodness. Can't wait to hear and see how it goes for you. Y'all have a great day. God bless.